What's up, guys? How's it going? We are live here at the Dave studio.
Techmon.
Dave, what's the name of your studio?
Techmon.
Techmon?
Yeah, it's over there in those weird that text.
Techmon. We're here at Techmon. This is a really cool place. I come here on Tuesdays to play with Dave and my friend Brad. And we were supposed to have a show tonight with the band. I was. And then the show got canceled because of the weather. It's very, very cold outside. So
Very cool.
I said, hey, Dave, can I come over and we can do a live stream from your place? And he was like, sure, let's do it. So here we are. And I hope everybody is staying warm. I'm excited that the Texans lost because I'm a Colts fan and I don't like the Texans. So I'm glad that happened a few minutes ago. Dave is running a lead for his base, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just gonna talk about stuff, you know, and then we'll maybe we'll play a little bit. So, how's everybody doing since our 4-hour stream yesterday? 20 degrees with wind chill.
Marathon stream.
Yeah, yesterday we had a marathon stream with this guitar actually. This was the one.
Fender Strat.
Yeah.
Fender P bass.
Fender P bass.
Both of them Mexican.
Yeah. And
good stuff.
I started that stream, Dave, and this had a Perloid pick guard.
And you changed halfway through?
And I said, I want to change it. I'm going to make a video about it. And I said, you know what? No, I'm going to do it live. So, 4 hours.
Oh, my Lord.
Took longer than it should have. Early after I finished it. Yeah. Cool. So, again, I hope everybody's having a good night. That was a good stream. I appreciate it, John. Thank you. That was really fun. I don't usually do stuff like this. I imagine that me and Dave will do stuff like this more often with you guys.
Oh, yeah. Because it's cold, too.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, some of my future videos that I'm going to be filming, I'm going to be doing them in here. You should see the amps in this room here. He's got, what, 5?
Yeah.
The full set of 5?
The 50th anniversary, 1 watt.
Yeah, 50th anniversary 1 watt Marshalls. I'm going to actually move. I want to show it to you.
Each one of them are an era.
Yeah, I'm going to pick you up and I'm going to show you. Because this is really cool, guys. All right, let me show you what he's got here. So check this out. He's got the whole set. These are all 1 watt and they can attenuate to 1/10?
Yeah.
1/10. 1/10 of a watt. So you can have it open.
In the morning, you can have it blaring ass loud.
Yeah.
It's about the sound of a boob box.
It's totally crazy. These things...
It's the 60s, then in the top one, the 70s, then the 80s, the 90s, and then the 2000s.
Yep. And they all sound amazing.
They do really sound good.
He's got them on this. Is this a 1960A?
Yeah.
Of course, that's the only way to do it.
With greenbacks in it.
Greenbacks.
Yeah.
He's got a Lone Star.
Yeah, Mesa Lone Star.
Mesa Lone Star. And then what were these called?
These Vintage 47.
Vintage 47s.
Yeah, they're a little company out of California, and they're hand built. They're like amplifiers from the 40s, 50s. The top one's a Valco Comet, and then the bottom one is an Oahu. It's Oahu is a brand. Like there was National, there was Oahu, there was Valco. They're all basically Supro and Valco. You know, they basically made them all and just put like Sears and Montgomery Ward stuff on, you know, and all that. But
oh yeah,
they're like 5 watts. The other one's 12 watts, and they're just killer.
Yeah, they're really, really cool.
They're octal tube.
That's right. I'm gonna go around the back and see if we can see that, because
tubes, so they're not just something you can run down to.
Yeah.
Radio Shack.
Look at that tube. And it's called an octal?
Octal tube, because it's got 8 quadrants, 8 sides. I don't know what it is. I'm not an engineer, so I just don't know.
It's totally nuts. I love it.
Yeah.
And then tell them about your pride and joy right here.
Oh, that's my bass rig. It's I don't know what it is, a 6540 cabinet or something. That's the largest cabinet made during the 80s for bass guitar. It's got an 18 in it, and they also made that with a horn in it. It was a voice cabinet for sound systems and stuff. And then this little dude on top, that's an 18, JBL 18. And then this one up here is this, I don't know, Alien Alliance. This guy made these. It's got a front plate in it, and it just goes in there and goes up, and it's a road case. It just, and the casters just pop right on and off, and it's 2 tins in that and a little horn for a little bit of treble, and it's just a monster. It's just, that's through a Crown and an RBI Tech 21 preamp. It just keeps going.
Oh yeah, and that's only half of it. I mean, these are some of those guitars. Somebody had talked about the double bound telly. This is actually what a drummer ends up with who works in a music store for 50 years.
That's a nice guitar.
So my friend who works at the music store, he's a drummer. He's worked at that music store for like 50 years, and this is the guitar he ended up with. This is a Japanese Fender Telecaster.
Like a 62 Fender or something.
Yeah, it's like a 62 reissue. And he put, this is a Gibson P90. This is a Gibson, did he say it was a 57?
It's not from 57.
But it's a 57 classic.
It's a 57 classic.
Yeah. And then a Strat single coil right here.
That is supposedly a vintage Strat pickup.
Yeah. And he cut this himself to put these in here. And then here he's got this switch.
It's terrible.
For the humbucker. And I think it's series, parallel, and split, I believe.
I couldn't tell you right off the bat.
Plus he's got the 3-way switch. So this thing is nice. I was playing it the other day, and it's awesome.
It's got Grovers on it too, doesn't it, or something, does it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's got Grovers. Yeah, it's got Grovers on it too.
Nice.
So when you have a lifetime of working in a music store, that's the kind of guitar that you end up with.
Yeah.
When you have a lifetime of music, you end up with a room like this. Look at this. Look at this place. I mean, there's a whole drum set in there. That's that drummer that works at the music store. That's his set. And then look at all these guitars. There's a few Gibsons up there. There's several Fenders.
Somebody came over not too long ago and said it looked like a museum.
Yeah. There's customs up there too.
It was guy plays guitar for John's band.
Oh yeah.
Mark, right? No.
Yeah. No, I don't remember his name. Oops.
Mark some in it.
I think so.
I can't think of
I don't remember.
He's a nice guy though.
And then here's a board.
That's an Allen and Heath. That's a nice,
Yeah.
pretty nice board. I run the drums through that and some of the mics.
Most of us use the computer, but you can't beat this. You can't beat actually doing it for real.
Here's a bunch of preamps.
These are all preamps here.
I think all told with the board, I got 64 preamps.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous like that.
So this is pretty crazy. It's a pretty crazy place. And my favorite part of this room is, and it won't do it justice to play it now, but the stereo system he has in here. He's got these vintage, really nice, the clearest sounding speakers I've ever heard in my life.
There's acoustic research, yeah.
I've never heard music the way that I hear music in this room. It's amazing. So yeah, that's just a quick rundown of what we're doing here.
It's a place to hang.
Techmon is a very, very neat place, and I'm very lucky and thankful to get to spend time here once a week. So, let me see. Okay, let's go ahead, I guess, and play something. And then if people have questions, I have a few topics in mind already of things I want to talk about, so.
Cool. You want to play something kind of soulful, a little bit of blues?
Sure. What key you want?
Let's go A.
A? That works. Let's go. I want to turn up
That guitar sounds so good.
Huh?
That sounds so good.
I love it. All right. Oh, that was cool.
That was.
That was very cool.
You ought to mention that was just plugged straight into that amplifier with nothing.
Yes. So that was.
That's unusual to have that sound.
That was the JCM 800, 1 watt, nothing else. No booster, no preamp, no nothing. That was just plugged straight in.
Can't afford anything else.
It's nuts. I mean, you can't. There aren't very many amps you can do that with. Where you can just plug straight in and get. There aren't very many amps that you can do that
without hurting something in a room.
Right. Yeah, and that's 1 watt. I mean, usually to get that level of breakup, you gotta be dangerously loud.
You gotta be deafening.
Like you gotta be shaking stuff on your ceiling, and yeah, pretty cool. Let's see if I missed anything here. I did not.
You know, when those first came out, and all these guys were like, "Oh, that's ridiculous," and that's girl that pussy stuff, you know, and on and on and on and on. And now it's just people want to know stuff about them.
Oh yeah.
You know, in the forums.
Oh, absolutely. And just like with everything else in the market that we are in, fortunately or not, you know, things that you can't get anymore, people are just willing to
pay anything you
away.
want for them. Look at the Klon.
Yeah. Look at and I was talking about this on the stream last night, but, you know, yeah, John, I agree. These are ceramic, by the way. These are not Alnico pickups. These are ceramic pickups.
They are.
Yeah.
Cool.
But we were
It's got a
talking.
real nice overdrive.
I love this.
It's got a really
It breaks up inside the guitar before it even gets out.
It
sounds
really
good.
Nice.
But I was talking about this in the stream last night, and me and some of the people that are watching now were talking about this. But it's like those department store guitars, and I was saying that like the older people, like you maybe, would remember like the Sears guitars, and how they were the cheap guitars. You
I
couldn't.
was 8 years old and looked at those Christmas catalogs.
Exactly, and you couldn't.
They had drums, they had a bass, they had guitar, they had a little sound system and all, and a mic.
Yeah, if you couldn't afford to get a Fender or a Gibson or something, then you got that.
Yeah.
And now.
Thank God I never had that stuff.
Yes.
I had a Fender Bassman, the first amp I ever had.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But what do you think? What are your thoughts on the fact that those guitars now, those Sears guitars, are selling for $300, $400, $500, and that people really want them? Like, what are your honest thoughts on that?
Are they Silvertone?
No, we're talking about like Tiesco.
Oh, I don't think they're. I'm a snob about that kind of thing.
No, that's fine.
I don't think they're worth a damn. I really don't. I mean, you know, and I don't think a lot of stuff that John considers, he gets all whacked over and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
If you stay with major brands, you're going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's money, money, money. The Fenders are ridiculous. You know, the Gibsons are just.
What do you think about
insanity?
What do you think about what they're charging now for stuff? Let's talk about like a Gibson Les Paul Standard 59.
I know a couple guys that worked for Gibson.
Yeah.
And they retired from it now. And they said that the quality control just went. The bottom fell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you know. And I love Gibson sound. I love the thing. I've got some Fenders with humbuckers in them and all that stuff. But I've got one Les Paul that's got a P90 in it. And I love it.
Yeah.
And you know, I really do like them. But you got to pick your way through Gibson. And I don't know. I probably use guitars that I want.
Right.
You know, and stuff like that. So I don't know. It looks to me like Fender's really got their stuff together. They're making a lot of amps. They're making guitars. Mike Rutherford of Genesis used a Squire.
I saw that.
On their world tour.
I guess that his guitar, they either lost it or something happened to it. So he went to the local store and he bought like an Affinity Squire Strat or something. And he gigged it at that show.
He liked it. He's like, we'll just keep this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane.
I think it's crazy that Gibson today is making guitars that are worse, like objectively, the quality is worse.
It's terrible.
And they're charging more than it would cost to buy a vintage used one.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
You could buy
I stay away from that 70s, you know,
the deluxe.
The
Norlin.
The Norlin era.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're terrible. I've had some 90s that were good in the 90s. But, you know, the damn things will not stay in tune. We talked about that.
We did.
And I don't care how, you know, I know for a dang fact, this isn't something I heard from a friend of a friend. I had two really, you know, they were $4,000 in that area.
Yeah. And
would not stay in tune for 12 bars of a 12 bars blues song. That's ridiculous. Now, if I had known at the time, I did not know about that string butler, and I have that on my Les Paul, because that was not staying in tune, but now it's perfect. Changes the strings from an angle to straight off, just like Paul Reed Smith.
Just like a Fender.
You know, and I really respect Paul Reed Smith guitars. I think they're just killer, and I got a G&L not too long ago. That's killer.
Those are more Fender than Fender is now.
Sure.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
The string butler, I actually did a video about it. It's not out yet. I filmed it like 2 months ago, but I'm so far ahead. That's why it's not out yet. But you guys will see that here in the coming weeks. We talk about the string butler. But he's right. You know, typically with a Les Paul or an SG headstock, your strings are coming at an angle and then down to the nut. But with the string butler, it takes all of the strings and it makes them straight. It gives them a straight string pull before it goes over to the tuners.
Look at a Fender, and they're perfect.
Yeah, like this.
They're just perfect. They
straight.
go straight off. And, you know, nobody has... I can throw one of my old Strats out of a truck.
Unless the tremolo's not set up properly.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, that sucker is just bulletproof.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
well, my Telecaster, there is no trem on that.
Right.
It's hard to put that guitar out of tune. My Tele.
Yeah.
Because of it's a straight string pull, it's a string through, goes through the back of the body.
What else you want?
There's nothing else you need, really.
No,
it's
not
great.
really.
So tell us about your bass.
This is a, I think it's about a 98 Mexican bass, but this is, look at the neck on this. I don't know if they can see that.
Let me set this down.
Show that a little bit.
Yeah.
Look at that flame in it. Isn't that nice?
Check this out.
That's a really sweet bass. That was a crappy, chipped up, vintage white. I think it had a white pick guard on it. It was just butt ugly, but it played really nice. And so I put old everything, tuners. This is a 62 custom shop pickup on it. And the most damn expensive thing on it is the tortoiseshell pick guard.
Yeah.
That was $75 or something like that. I can't imagine why it's so much.
I have no idea.
But they
Fender
really
charges,
are a lot of money and all that. So this is a really fine ass bass. It fits me well. I've always liked Precisions really well.
Oh yeah.
And I've got a really nice, it's a 2011 jazz bass over there, Fender Jazz. It's vintage white. It's
yeah.
Sweet as sweet gets.
Now you don't know this because you've just met him, but this guy is a master carpenter. So
retired carpenter.
He's retired now, but before he retired, he was a master carpenter. So most of his guitar necks, he's finished to the back of them himself, or he's taken the finish off of them to make them fit the profile that he wants.
Well, the other thing is to do Danish oil on them, which is so nice.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful for the wood and all that. And you've played them, you know how that feels.
And you make these stands too, right?
Yeah, I made some of these. I made that one's a really nice one. That took the most time to do.
Yeah, the one with the acoustics.
But Gibson and somebody else makes these stands. They sell them for $200-300 a piece. And this one's made out of an African wood called Padak. That's a pretty cool wood.
See, I was in the shop today, and somebody, might have been John, was telling me that someone bought one of the stands from you in his band, I think, that guitar player.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mike White.
Yeah, that's it.
Mike White.
That's it. Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's got a Firebird.
Does he? Well, it's probably a Gibson.
I'm not sure if it is or not.
Yeah. Those are expensive now. Gibson Firebirds?
Everything's are expensive, you know. Anything with a Gibson on it is expensive.
Yep. Well, except for the tributes, which are discontinued now, so that they can make Epiphones cost $950. Like, why would...
I like the tribute. Some of those Les Paul tributes are really nice.
The thing I like about the tribute, and I hate that I missed out on it before it was discontinued, but The thing about the tribute that I like is that you don't have to worry about it. It's satin, or I'm
Yeah.
sorry, it's like matte already.
That's a tribute. That's a '60s tribute that had P90s in it, and that's a Seymour Duncan. They've got 3 different P90s. That's like a 1 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyhow, and then that's that DiMarzio
Super D,
Super Distortion.
but it's the P90 sized one.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of those guitars because a night like tonight, it is cold as hell outside.
Take that sucker out.
I don't want to bring my, spoiler
That's-
alert, I have a robot Gibson Les Paul that I'll show you guys eventually.
Really nice.
I wanted to bring that for this tonight, but I didn't. So having something like that would be perfect because it's already worn. And no, it's different from being relicked. It's not relicked. It's worn. The way that they did the paint, and I like that a lot.
I like that better.
I like
than
that
relic.
better than the gloss, than having
Yeah.
like
Oh,
18
yeah.
coats of paint. I like
Yeah.
that a lot better.
Mhm.
And it just, the neck profile, the neck is maple. And it's not mahogany.
Not mahogany.
Like every other Les Paul.
It's a good looking. It's good looking. It plays well. It's super for slide guitar.
Yeah.
And I've got bumblebee pickup or capacitors in that one.
Yep.
And
Those are nice, but you can't buy them now. Unless you buy them used. Because they discontinued them. Because they've decided they want to sell things like the Kirk Hammett Epiphone Greenie Les Paul for $1,000.
silliness, that kind of thing. But
Instead of selling those.
you know these, and I've had some. I don't think I've got one SRV. That's different. That's different from but they
Yeah.
just make these. They got that her gal.
Mm-hmm. I saw
She's
that.
got a
She's like-
she's got a signature guitar
Yeah,
now.
I don't understand that.
Who's
Who's gonna buy that? There's also a Bruno Mars signature. Who's gonna buy that?
he dances, doesn't he? He doesn't play guitar.
He does play. He's pretty talented.
Does he?
He's pretty talented. I'll give him that. He's got a pretty good voice. He's pretty good at the guitar. He can play the drums. He can play the bass. He can play all kinds of stuff. Multi-talented
That's
musician.
cool.
But when you think of him, you don't think of guitarists.
No.
And who is the target market
No.
for that?
Kenny
guitar?
Wayne Shepherd. You think about that,
Right. Exactly, but
John
not
Mayer.
John
I've got.
Mayer.
I do have a John Mayer Martin, and that is a
Those
fine-ass
are
acoustic.
worth lots and lots and lots of money
Yeah,
now.
my wife bought that for me. I bought her a custom wedding ring, and we're sitting around. I said,
That-
"What do I get?"
That's a pretty good deal, right
That was
there.
a pretty good deal. It was Easter, and she put $100 bills in like 50 different eggs.
Aw.
She goes, "Now make sure you got them all."
Oh yeah, I threw one of them in the trash.
Yeah, $100
Oops.
bill.
No, those John Mayer acoustics are going for lots of money
They
right
took
now.
that. Well, he's got 3 different ones. One of them's ridiculous. It was 14 or 15,000.
Yeah.
And that's not what mine is, but it's the OMJM, and it's a solid, it's a good guitar.
Yeah.
Um,
His Strat was a good one too, but the thing about signature
the,
Strats,
the Silver Star.
no, it's before that.
Fender?
It's actually a Fender. It's,
Yeah,
What did he call it? I think he calls it black something. I don't remember.
I don't know.
But the thing about signature Strats,
I'm not a huge fan of his, but that's okay. I mean,
yeah.
whatever. He's Hollywood.
I think he's different now than he was. He
Yeah,
was
but
for a while.
He's done a bunch of acid with
Yeah,
Grateful
with
Dead.
Grateful
boys.
Dead. Yeah. He's got doing that Dead and Company thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
But what's the point of a signature Strat, you think?
make money.
Well, like to a buyer, to somebody the consumer. To the consumer, what's the point?
It's like buying an album by somebody. It's buying something that, Iron Maiden. What's their bass player? He's a crazy bass player.
Oh yeah.
He's a very, very good bass player.
Mhm.
It's not my style, but whatever. But they got one for him, and they've got one for the dude in what's Billy Joe Armstrong's band?
Oh, Mike Dirnt.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. I saw an ad for
I
that
think
the other
he's
day.
just a 3-noter, isn't he?
He's actually pretty
Is
good.
he pretty good?
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
cool.
He actually plays like.
Now some of these like Victor Wooten and some of those you get
Yeah.
the guy from Mudvayne, Ryan. What is his last name? It's not Martini, is it?
I don't know.
You ever listened to Mudvayne before?
Not really.
No, they're an incredible band. They are. They call it mathematic metal, but it's not. But that bass player is ridiculously good.
I'll have to try that. Listen to that.
I got a bunch of it.
So
It's very obnoxious. Some of it.
yeah.
It's very offensive to some people.
Well,
A lot of
some of the best music is.
A lot of fuck you and this and that and everything. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I
No?
love it. I used to go see that kind of stuff live.
Yeah.
Because I love that kind of music. Because those people don't care whether you either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, leave.
Yeah.
You know, if you like it, sit down, shut up.
Yeah.
We're playing.
Exactly.
You know, and Zach Wilde, I like him a lot, and
He's with Pantera now, right?
just
Touring.
yeah,
That's got to be interesting.
yeah. They had a lot of problems at first,
Yeah. I guess they're good now, but I don't know.
probably.
One of my friends saw him and said that it was amazing, but
I'm not a huge fan. I'm kind of picky about metal. I didn't get into metal. Like I'm not a huge Metallica fan, and not really a fan of Megadeth.
you
I like
either
the
love
bands
it or you
I like
hate
the
it.
bands that I like. I like Disturbed. I like Godsmack. Those kind of bands. I've seen Rob Zombie 8 or 9 times. I really like him.
Yeah.
And when John Five's playing with Motley Crue.
I saw that. That's
For
crazy.
money.
Yeah.
He's a tremendous guitar player.
He is pretty good.
I don't know if there's anybody that can play like that crazy man. He
Yeah.
just sits around tying his shoe.
Yeah. He's
You
good.
know,
It's
just doing
effortless.
Yeah, it is. It's just amazing.
Totally effortless for him. All right.
So what's anybody got to say on here?
I don't
You got
know.
any
Let's
questions?
see. Let me see if anybody has anything to say. John says, I like the way that the P bass was refinished
Thank
in
you.
natural.
Yeah, I did that by hand. I really did it. The flat spots I ran through a surface sander, and then I had to do the corners and all that by hand. But thank you. That's Danish oil. Yeah, it looks like an old. That was my first decent bass. Was a Fender Precision that was like that,
Yeah.
and I sold it.
That happens to us all. We end up losing something.
It's worse than the first girlfriend getting away. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That and your first car getting away from you or wrecking it. That's the worst.
I don't know what happened to my first car. It was a Honda.
I wrecked a bunch of them, but I did not wreck my first.
I wrecked my Camaro, destroyed the front end of it.
I had a Camaro that I wrecked a bunch of times.
Wrecked my Charger, totaled it.
My very first car was a '70 Mustang.
And you didn't wreck it.
No, it did not have the wing. It didn't have the louvers, but it had the lay down. It was a fastback.
It was a 70s Mustang.
Yeah,
though.
it had a 351 Cleveland in it. It was a bad car.
That's crazy.
It was candy apple red. It was a looker. It was a cool car.
Sometimes I just ask myself what happened because now I have a F-150 and a Dodge Durango. Like, what happened? What happened to my cool car?
You haven't seen my little car, have you?
Out in the garage?
Yeah.
I did. I saw it the
Did
other
you?
day. Yeah.
I didn't know if I showed it to you or not.
You didn't show it to me, but I saw it out there.
Yeah, it's a sweet car.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
only got 4,000 miles on it.
You did tell me that.
Yeah, it's 14 years old.
And what is it?
It's a Pontiac Solstice.
Yeah, Pontiac Solstice with 4,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Any
What?
car with 4,000 miles on it.
It's turbocharged and all that. It'll really run.
Drive to Kroger and back once
No,
a month.
Never put groceries in it.
No.
No.
Drive
never,
to-
Never put it in a parking lot.
So what do you
Just
use it
drive
for? Just driving?
Driving around on a Saturday or Sunday.
That's the way you do it.
Yeah.
That's the way you do it.
Looks
So-
like it just came. It's got its own little sealed garage out there, and it looks like it's just come off the showroom floor. So that's cool.
That's awesome. That's
It's
awesome.
not heated. That could be better if it was heated, but
It'll be okay.
it costs you a fortune.
This weather makes you wonder, but it'll be okay, I'm sure. Okay, well, I think maybe we should play a little bit more before we tell these people goodbye.
Cool.
I think I want to play that Les Paul tribute because we were talking about it.
Do it.
I'm gonna go get it.
It might be close to being in tune.
Yeah, we'll see.
Cause I had it out earlier playing.
Yeah, here we go. And I'll show it to them as well. All right, so here we go. Here's a Les Paul tribute that they no longer make, unfortunately.
That's a 1911 or 2011.
2011.
Yeah, I had 2 of them. They were both really nice, and I sold one. I had a G&L L2000 bass for 37 years, something like that. I kept guitars for decades. And now I've had probably 50 guitars in the last 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. I'm just, and Beeson's but I had a plan, I just had a bunch of stuff, and I needed some stuff strategically for the studio, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That Guild acoustic, and then that gives me my Nashville tuned guitar. We ought to do a little show on the Nashville tuning.
We will. I think we will. We'll
That and
we'll
the
make a
dobro.
plan.
We'll do that and the dobro together.
Yeah. Next time we'll have a plan.
Sure.
This time I just kind of wanted to do it. I'm almost there. Okay, so again, this guitar, just real quick, this is the Les Paul Tribute by Gibson. You've got your mahogany body with your maple cap. There is no binding, but it looks like it, but it's not. This is just the maple cap right here, up on the top. You've got a matte finish all the way around.
I love it.
From the back of the neck to the body. I much prefer this.
Feel nice. That feels
Yeah.
on the back of the neck. See, then I don't have to sand them.
Yeah,
because
I
they
much
just feel
much
nice.
prefer. This feels
Right.
amazing. I
Yeah.
love this guitar. It has.
Show them the bumblebees in there.
Oh yeah, you've got bumblebee caps. Check that out. And he always puts these transparent covers on the back of his guitars, which I think is really cool. Yep, the neck is maple, and the body is mahogany. It's an oddball in the Gibson world. Some people say that the maple makes it sound snappier.
And there's the string butler.
Yeah, and the string butler we talked about right there. So
$50. Best $50 you could ever put into a Les Paul.
exactly. So instead of it going from here down to the nut, it goes into this little contraption along these wheels.
It's a roller nut.
It makes the strings pull completely straight so that it doesn't go out of tune as easily.
The way I've been told is it got caught in the nut.
Yes. They
Because
bind
of
up
that-
in the
because
nut.
of that angle, and it would pull it and then not release it.
And then
And that's
even
why the G and the B string would always go out. But
exactly. And then even if you lube it properly and it's moving, it wears because it's pulling against the sides of it so hard.
yeah, so good.
And then also
There's a lot of pressure on a guitar. People don't realize.
oh yeah, hundreds of pounds,
Yeah.
thousands of pounds maybe.
I mean, I had a bass string break one time. I started thinking about that later on. I was like, that put your daggone eye out.
No kidding.
You know,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. So there's a P90 here in the neck. And then I didn't even know this existed, but this is a super distortion, but P90 size.
DiMarzio.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love super distortions. They're my favorite pickup. So
It gets down.
we're-
You've heard it. You're playing it right now.
oh yeah, we're running through the JCM 800 again, just wide open. All right. Let's see. What do we want to do this time?
Let's a little superstitious.
What key?
E.
E.
sounds out of that thing.
No, this guitar sounds great. You wouldn't expect the P90 Super
Have that
Distortion
much
to sound
kick
like
at it.
that.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't. And then this P90, you know,
It
it's
sounds really full.
that's what you expect. You roll the
That sounds
volume
just killer,
down.
man. Showing that.
Oh yeah.
Or just showing them stuff.
Yeah, so this is some picks that he uses.
It's
These
a
are
shark fin.
shark fins.
Some of these guys might use them.
So the idea,
You can get the harmonics really easy from them.
yeah, the idea behind this is you hold it, and these little ribbed pieces here can help you hit the pinch harmonic better.
There's
So,
more attack.
as an example, you can use it. I'm not very good with it, but it allows you to dig the string a little bit easier.
Exactly it. It allows you to dig on this, dig down.
With a
in it.
regular pick, you got to work a lot harder to get that same sound. It kind of feels kind of clumsy when you hit it that hard.
That
But with
attack's just there. With
this
that thing.
pick,
Yeah.
so yeah, these are pretty cool.
They're Dunlops. They're in all kinds of gauges too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like this. This is a nice guitar. I hate that I missed out on getting one
They're
before
still
they got
around.
discontinued,
They're still
but
around. There's a gold top too in that satin finish, and cherry sunburst, and
that's the one I would want.
And then that one's a butterscotch, and I like it a lot. It's aging well.
And it's gonna age faster because of the way that it's finished.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
A few years from now, I mean, this is only 13 years old,
Yeah.
and it looks a lot older.
Oh, very much.
It looks like a 70s or 80s guitar just by looking at it, but it's not. This is not that old. Although I guess 2011 is a long time ago now.
And that's just
That's weird.
insane.
I feel like
2000 is a long. I mean, that's decades ago.
it seems like the 2010 to 2019 decade didn't happen.
I saw a thing that said from 1918 to 1972 is the same as 1972 to now.
That's nuts.
That really hit home for me. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
My dad was born in 1918. It's like, wow.
I know. I think about things from when I was younger, like Episode 1, Star Wars Episode 1, right?
No cell phones.
25 years ago.
Yeah.
25 years
When were
ago.
you born?
In the early 90s.
So there were
90s.
cell phones and computers. I
Well,
grew up.
I remember-
I remember when Texas Instruments calculators was the biggest thing.
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
my brother was an engineer at Rose-Hulman, and he had to have one, you know, and it was just crazy. You know, I mean, we had nothing.
See, thankfully, my dad was very not resistant to the technology, but he wanted us to learn how to live in the world. So, CDs existed, but I didn't know. I had a Walkman cassette player when I was growing up. The internet existed, but we didn't have it. Computers existed, but I wasn't really allowed to use one. You know, we had two
There's such
TVs.
an unknown quantity too.
VHS
You know, I
tapes.
can't imagine really being a parent when they just first came out.
Yeah, so my generation was a weird generation because it was when the internet.
Transitioning.
Right. It was a weird transition period because it was when the internet started to come and really be usable and useful.
Because
And
you're
then,
half my age, basically.
yeah, the digital age came.
And yeah, you know, I mean,
And it was weird. We were the last generation to learn out of encyclopedias. We were the last generation to do cited books on papers for school, stuff like that. You know, now it's all
by the time
cited.
you were out driving and stuff, they would already, service stations, they didn't come out and put gas in your car for you, did they?
They did not.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember buying gas for 33 cents a gallon.
The
They used to have gas wars.
Yeah, I've heard about that. People would fill up like
Insane.
drums of it and save it at home.
Yeah,
It
because they go
hoarded.
down to 19 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wow.
It's crazy. It's totally crazy. Yeah, so, you know, this is a cool guitar. I like it. But it's weird, you know, seeing Made in USA 2011, and you're like, that's not that old, but it is.
Not just the other day anymore.
It is. That's over a decade ago. That's
Yeah.
nuts. That's
So I
crazy.
consider like a late 90s is a fairly new guitar, but they're starting to get, you know, 25
My head
years
is
or 25
finally
years old.
my head is finally shifting to where The 90s is almost vintage, but not quite, in my head anyway.
Right.
If I see something was made in the 90s, more often than not, on a guitar, I'm like, okay, that's old enough that it was probably fine. But now it's moving.
That's a funny thing, you know, because some purists still don't move that bar.
No.
You know, and it's still...
It's just because quality's so bad now.
It has to be a 68, or before, to be quality,
we don't all have 20 grand to spare.
Exactly. And I had that 1964 music Duosonic.
Yeah.
For a while. That was a killer. There's a picture of me with it when I got inducted to the Hall of Fame.
When were you inducted?
I don't know, like 18.
Yeah?
17 or 18.
I've only got 28 more years to go.
Yeah.
And then I can be inducted.
Yeah, you think the world will still be here?
I don't think so.
Ugh.
I don't know. I don't know if this town will still be here.
I'll tell you, my wife was saying the other day, she was just like, she said, I wouldn't be half surprised if some kid one of these days sues his parents for having them.
I know, right? We're getting there. We're getting to that
Supreme
point.
Court.
Yeah, like I didn't consent to exist.
In this fucked up world.
Yeah.
The world is really fucked up right now. I mean, it's just every day is just another horror.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. You know something interesting, by the way, you guys?
I forgot we were online.
Yeah, we don't really talk about politics often on this, but we did a little bit last night on my show. And me and Dave, fundamentally, we don't agree on a lot of things, but on the things that matter, we do agree. And I think that's very telling. I think that's very, very telling. For example, I know you and I will not vote for the same person in the election. I know that for a fact. But we agree on like what you just said. I just think that's very interesting. Why is that lost today with people? Why is it that if we know that whatever our political alignment is different, that we're supposed to hate each other and
people
everything?
People are just angry, and part of that's Fox News. Let's just be factual, making it a battlefield. Everything's a battlefield.
Everything has to be a black and white issue.
Every show on television is about murder.
Yeah.
Not every, but a way lopsided amount is. There's Dayline, there's 48 Hours, and then there's SUV or SVU.
It doesn't matter what channel. It doesn't matter if it's CNN, Fox,
it's everywhere.
NBC.
It's everywhere. Although I did like that Monsignor Spade, Sam Spade, the thing the other night, last Sunday. It's going to be on this Sunday too.
What was it?
The private detective from the 50s, Sam
I didn't
Spade.
see that.
It's the second edition is going to be, which they'll show the first also,
Okay.
but it's on Sunday night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just
It's
let's
just
have a more peaceful world.
It makes me mad that people are so hateful,
Polarized.
in that way. Like you're allowed to disagree about stuff. For example,
You don't have to hate somebody.
I personally prefer Gibson guitars, and I really like Gibson guitars. Do you not like me as a person because you prefer Fender guitars? It's the same thing whether it's...
But I've got Gibsons too, so I'm not...
Right.
It doesn't bother me.
But same thing with what I was just saying, though. There are
Right.
things that we agree on.
Right. Oh, sure, yeah.
And there's things that we don't. And like I said, this isn't a political show, but I think it's worth mentioning that because last night on the stream we talked a bit about some things, and I just think it's very telling.
As long as everybody's cool and
Yeah.
agrees with me.
Everyone agrees with if everyone agrees with what you think, that's all that matters. As long as everyone else is
Well,
good
that's kind of one of the problems in this world is that's what it's gotten to.
It has. It has.
You know?
People are afraid to talk because
And
they're...
then there's Taylor Swift.
Oh no! Don't
Yeah.
get me started. Don't get me started. When is her signature Fender coming out?
Oh, it probably is going to.
Her signature...
Diamond
Oh.
encrusted Fender.
Okay, but tell me, there's no way you can convince me that Taylor Guitars has not tried for years to get her to make one
Probably.
with them.
Probably.
I mean, it's gonna happen.
Sure.
Mark my words.
Well,
Within the next
girl-
3 years...
She's making $1 billion on her concert or something like that, on her tour.
Within the next 3 years, there will be a Taylor Swift Taylor.
Can you name one song that she does?
Now, like a new song? I know a lot of
Any
her old
song.
songs.
Any of them.
Okay.
I cannot
I have
I
to make...
talk about. I can't name any
Okay,
songs
I have to
by
make
her.
an admission, a confession.
You
Okay?
have a poster of her, don't you?
No, I don't. I really liked her country music when she was a country music artist. She had an album. Everyone knows this album. It's called Speak Now. I have to admit, that was my guilty pleasure album a decade ago.
What's that other gal? She's in that. She's in a bar and she comes in. It's a commercial and the guy like, you know, and she's like, oh, you know, it's the other girl that she was really big there for a little bit, but Taylor Swift just eclipsed her.
I don't remember.
Oh, you'd know the name. It's another one of those.
I have no idea. Miley Cyrus?
No.
I don't know. So I don't know any new artists.
Yeah, I don't really.
My head is in the 70s and the 80s. With music.
There's a few good bands out. What's the one? Oh my God, Mark Portnoy, the drummer, is in it. I've got their first album, and guitar player is just phenomenal. He sounds like Chris Cornell, and then the bass player is the dude that played with Mr. Big and all. He's just a fantastic bass player. Anyhow, that band's that's a kicking ass band.
Well, so like there are some
I thought Greta Van Fleet was pretty good at first.
I liked them, and what the hell happened to them?
I don't know. They
went crazy.
They went nuts. Yeah.
Their first album, I liked it a lot, and I was like,
good.
oh man, there's a chance for rock and roll to come back with these kids. Like it sounds like Led Zeppelin, and it sounds like old classic, dirty SG Marshall rock, and I liked it. I could name 7 or 8 songs off of that first record that I liked.
I got it.
Then the second one came out, and I was like,
This is not as good.
It was like watching Led Zeppelin's career and fast forward. Because remember, at the end of Led Zeppelin's career, they were making that really weird, folksy, airy, ethereal music.
Yeah.
Well, Greta did that by album number 2. And then after that, they lost me completely.
The other thing about Led Zeppelin is they had already made so much money.
Yeah, they were done.
That they could just do anything they felt like doing.
And they earned that.
Sure.
They earned that.
Oh my God, they were the best band there was for a long time.
They earned that. But Greta, I'm still not over what happened with them because
I don't understand.
They had a chance.
That singer dude is just odd.
He went crazy.
He's really odd.
He went totally nuts, and I'm very disappointed because that first album I liked.
I thought they were going to be something.
I thought I did too. I thought that they could help bring rock back.
Now
to
there's
the
several
mainstream.
blues artists I get on YouTube and just check, and there's several blues.
There are a lot.
There's a Jeffrey Gaines that's just killer, and Gomes, and he's really killer, and yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I'm concerned about rock right now because.
Well, a buddy of mine brings me over. He's in that Blues Review. He's got a subscription to that magazine and another blues one and a rock. Oh, it's vintage guitars, and he brings them over, just gives them to me, and it's like, well, you don't have to do that. Whatever you want to do. Man, there are so many blues artists that it's just not even funny.
Blues is flooding the scene right now. People really
everywhere.
like the blues.
Yeah.
They always will.
A lot of them.
But it's hard to make it.
Yeah.
Like if I decided I wanted to be a blues guy,
It's
I'd have no
terrible.
chance.
It's about like being in country music because it's just so much overfill in the market.
Yeah, I mean, my goal is to just write the music that I write and play with as many people as I can. Recording with you and Brad, and then I've got some other friends that we might try to record with you too.
Absolutely.
And, you know, just trying to find our own way. Your goal can't be to be a star.
a sax player. That's keep your eye out.
My dad plays the sax.
Is he good?
Yeah, he's very good.
Can he roll? Can he rock?
He can rock and roll.
Right on.
He
Does
can
live
sing.
here?
He has perfect pitch singing too.
Oh, really?
He lives in Indy.
Oh, that's amazing.
What do you need?
Yeah.
Do you need him for a project or something?
No, but you know, you got to have somebody, and then you'll start thinking about places. That
We can
fit.
play. We can play Turn the Page, and he can play that part at the beginning.
That's so lame, isn't it?
he can play that part at the beginning of Turn the Page. Okay.
That or a Frankie Valli song.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to do it for tonight, guys. Did I miss any messages?
Thank you. It's so nice to have met you all.
Yeah, it was fun. I appreciate you guys being here again.
Throw money.
That makes it like 5 hours the last 2 nights that you guys have spent with me.
Well, that's pretty good.
So thank you very, very much. We appreciate you. Everybody say bye to Dave and say thank you.
Stay warm.
Thank you to him. Yeah, stay warm out there. I will catch you guys later. There is no frequency show on Saturday, this coming Saturday. Our next show isn't until the first Saturday in February. So I'm going to try and do a live stream, sometime, maybe next Saturday, maybe sometime before then. I don't know. I'll keep you posted. If you want updates, join the Discord. The link's in the description, and we can talk about that. So I'll see you guys later. Stay warm, stay dry. Go Bills tomorrow, and go Packers. I don't know if they're winning right now, but I hope they win. All right. See you guys. Good night.